Lad. And we're live. I did not time my grape very well.
Yes.
All right, so back for our second whammy this week.
Yeah.
We
This
left
one is a whammy.
We had it on the agenda. We just never got to it.
This one's important enough that I think it deserves its own special emergency episode.
So that actually brings up an interesting question, right? Yesterday we had an episode of the Jira Life with Matt and Stu, who were able to fill in nicely for Rodney. What does that make this special, after school special type Muppet News Flash episode of the Jira Life? Is it 21? Is it 20A?
20.5.
20.5?
20.5 or 28. I'm good with either.
Okay.
My wife this morning was like, she's like, who initiated? I'm like, I think it was Rodney. He's like, and she goes, he just wanted to make sure he was on the podcast.
Actually, it was Bob who initiated it. I'm just like, yeah, we really should talk about this one because we got a nasty one for you guys.
It wasn't me that initiated. It wasn't me that actually exploited this vulnerability or anything like that. It's the evil hacker type people over in the dark web.
Hey man, they gotta stay employed somehow. Correction, they gotta keep the Atlassian employees employed somehow.
No. I think this was found in a bug bounty of some sort, so it probably kept them employed too.
See, we're just keeping the ecosystem alive here. So enough of the suspense, Rodney. What are we talking about? What are we hit with here today?
All right, we are talking today about the CVE and Atlassian announced this week, the CVE-2019-13990, which is an XXE external or XML external entity injection.
A lot of X's there.
There are a lot of X's.
You guys, any of you Marines?
No, I know some, but
I had a buddy who was in the Marines when I worked at Northrop. He's like, give it to me Barney style.
Barney style is you guys need to patch your Jira service management instances yesterday.
Right now. Yesterday.
Not right now. Yesterday. This one's a nasty one.
Yeah. So,
right, Bob?
So walk us through some of the details here, Bob. What do we got?
So what we got here is what an XML XXE or XXE and XML external entity injection. What that is a vulnerability in one of the components that processes XML, and they discovered this vulnerability, and so they put out this thing. I think the external agency rated this as critical.
9.8.
Atlassian itself has said, yeah, you may rate it as critical. We're calling it a high. So,
and what does that mean for us? Like, when should we take action?
So here's the thing. It's always recommended to update to the patch version right away. If you cannot do that, there is a workaround. Something that can buy you time until you can get through your patching process.
Yeah, because when I worked on premise, right, we never went. We were always like 2-3 versions behind. We had to test stuff out. So, walk us through this workaround here.
Well, the workaround is it is painful. You'd probably be better off just doing the update. Essentially what you do for your workaround is for your JSM instance, you disable assets.
Yep.
So the workaround is turn off the key critical functionality that you pay for.
Yes. So just update your instance, people. Take the sour apple candy and just do what you got to do.
And so what happens if we don't patch this?
My understanding... Go ahead, Bob.
In this type of vulnerability, because this affects an XML processor, it allows a bad XML file to be interpreted, and that may result in remote code executions. So,
And
not a good thing.
remote code executions could do anything from granting a hacker access to your instance to turning your instance into a bot farm or a crypto miner. Anything that they could do by running code on your system, this gives them the gateway to do it.
Now, a common defense that I hear, especially with our server and data center folks, right, is that you have a firewall already protecting you from that outside network. So how critical is this, though, if we fall into that pretext? Or is it a false pretext?
I think a good WAF, I think that's what it's commonly referred to as, a web
WAF?
application firewall.
Okay.
May get through most of it, but I'm still more comfortable with patching.
The analogy I like to think of is your house has a lock, right? We all trust the lock, we all know the lock. So that means you could just leave all your jewelry and cash and stuff on the counter in plain sight.
That's what I do.
Well, for us sane people out there, if we have valuables, we protect them even further inside, even though the house does have locks. Those locks can still be bypassed. They can still be done by someone on the inside of the company if this is vulnerable. So it's always just go ahead and practice defense for yourself and not rely on the general defense provided by being behind a firewall.
Interesting points. All right. So how much time do you usually think that this takes to go through this assessment and get it patched up and stuff? Is it easier than doing a plain install, or is this a little bit more streamlined?
It depends on what version you are. Again, this is why we really encourage people to be on the long-term support versions, because they will get these patches for a long time. And it's just a bug upgrade, which is a relatively minor upgrade. You don't have to worry about assessing new features or figure out what breaks in your workflow with these kind of upgrades. You just usually are able to apply them pretty rapidly. So if you're on LTS, just go to one of the fixed versions mentioned within this Confluence page right here. If you're not on LTS, you really should consider getting on LTS anyways.
Now, here we are at the end of October, right? And this February 24th deadline is quickly upon us. What would happen if this vulnerability came out March 20th, 2024?
Well, it would be patched for data center and products, and every hacker would put it in their toolbox for every server product.
And so Atlassian, under good ethical conscience, is going to just let these people be?
Atlassian has the ability and the authorization to do that. Now, they may, for certain very critical bugs, choose to go ahead and release a patch anyways, even though it's out of life, just to cover their bases. But you should not be expecting that to be the norm. The norm will be... Yeah.
Go ahead.
Bob?
Yeah, I was also going to say that there's... I think there's going to be a little bit of hedging, especially with kind of the offer that they have right now, where if you buy for customers over 1,000 seats on cloud, they will extend support past February up to a year. So that might be, that's definitely a factor there, where if you're if you're in that situation, you're probably going to be able to grab the upgrade.
Now, why don't these vulnerabilities impact the cloud?
Effects are that sometimes they do affect the cloud. They just get them patched immediately before anyone notices them, and for the end user, it appears never to be never to really be an issue. These kind of vulnerabilities also exist in cloud. They're just fixed immediately. You don't have to worry about any of this stuff.
All right, and in the month of October, this is not our only vulnerability. I don't know that we might have mentioned it briefly in a previous episode, but why don't we go back show folks maybe the other vulnerability that we have.
Oh, the one I already had up.
Yeah, there we go. So why don't you walk us through this one just so we can maybe make it a good 15-minute episode?
All right. Well, this one is affecting Confluence data center and server instances. This one I put out a post on the Jira Guy LinkedIn channels or LinkedIn pages earlier. And yeah, this one is also a fairly nasty one. If I remember right, it was a yeah, this one lets you bypass the security settings and lets you access content on Confluence without permission. So yeah, that one is also fairly nasty.
Any workarounds with this one?
Trying to remember because it's been a full week. I am still recovering from jet lag, guys.
I didn't think there were any workarounds.
I think
on
this
that
one was just a you can determine if your system's already been compromised, but I think the fix is just you got to do the upgrade.
Right. And so I think a key difference here on this one for Confluence is that there are already exploits for this vulnerability out in the wild. So
Microsoft, yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
Microsoft has announced they have seen people exploiting this in the wild automatically through automated scripts.
Wait, so I'm missing it. What is this vulnerability then?
So again, just because you decided to quiz me on one I didn't really have a chance to read
You
yet.
wrote a whole blog post on it.
No, I wrote a link into this page.
Folks, go do your own homework.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ronnie. You're such a gentleman.
Hey.
Hey. And so while you're looking for that, how do folks typically find out about these things? Because data center and server versions of Jira, right? It's a system you actively have to manage, and you have to actively be looking out for it. But are users dependent on like an email communication from Atlassian, or is it something that like you got to be in the community to know, or does like the on-prem Jira and Confluence tell you, hey, you got something going on? Like, how do they usually find out?
The answer is a little bit of everything. If you are in the TAM program, or TAMs will let you know. Sometimes if it's a sufficient CVE, they'll let you know in advance if they can. Sometimes these things are getting out there so fast they don't have time to tell you. If you're working with a service partner, they could also let you know about it.
Yeah.
See, Bob.
Yeah, we get notifications about these type of vulnerabilities. Sometimes it's like with this previous one on Tuesday, we got the advanced notification about a couple hours before Atlassian went public with this. So
sometimes there's not a lot of time.
Yeah.
Email communication is the main way. Atlassian will email these out to the technical contacts for these instances. So that's another way you'll know. And obviously follow the Jira Life and the Atlassian community.
Now, in my memory here, right, doing even a quick patch like this, you still got to organize a whole group and mobilize a team. How much risk do these companies actually are exposed to as they're even just strategizing, like getting the team together to do the patch?
Again, this is the reason that we always advise you to be on LTS. And LTS makes it so that this will only be in bug upgrade. That is, they're only changing the last number. So that does mitigate some. You don't have to get as big a group together. You don't have to go through as rigorous testing because there are no new features that are likely to break. You should always go through some testing first, but this could be an expedited trial. I've done these from notification to final upgrade on a very high risk CVE in a matter of 2 days.
That's still 2 days of exposure.
It is still 2 days of exposure, and it wasn't as quick as I want to move, but it was as quick as due diligence let me move.
What is a typical due diligence, like just from you guys' experience, nothing any proprietary, right? But what should people be considering when they're getting ready for this? Like, do they need to update their disaster recovery plans? Do they need to go through a tabletop exercise?
Um, a
All
I
of the
think
above?
that's for a major upgrade, all that's great. For this kind of upgrade, if you're already on LTS version, I don't think you have to go through all that. Usually, due diligence is upgrading your test instance. Make sure that it comes up cleanly. There are no issues there. Go through several common workflows for several teams under your purview. Make sure that's working fine with no new changes there. And then alert users that, hey, you need their help testing.
And then obviously bring down the service, right? So do you recommend you do this after hours? Can it be done during hours?
If you are on a data center product, you don't have to bring down server service with a bug upgrade. You can do what's called zero downtime upgrade, where you just roll the nodes one at a time and then complete the database changes if there are any after you finish all the node upgrades. That works well on any data center instance. On server, you will have some downtime, but that's just typical planning.
And so you just get used to that. We're gonna have downtimes once a week.
If there's a bug once a week, I mean, would you rather have
Every week.
downtime or would you be have all your secrets go to North Korea? I mean,
Hey man, you get your wags. That's gotta be, yeah. Anyway, so thank you very much, Ronnie and Bob here. Very informational. Folks, if you haven't updated your systems, now is the time to go take some action. Any other thoughts, information that you think people should know about?
Not at this time, for at least as far as these go. Update your instance, keep an eye on it. Usually the CVEs tend to come in waves. So now that we've already seen two within relatively short succession, honestly would not be surprised to see more over the next couple of weeks because that's into how they work with Atlassian products.
Right.
Always around the holidays, right? They just try to make the IT departments not be able to take any PTO.
What's that?
These vulnerabilities, like I remember, like
No, what's that? What were those letters at the end?
I'm sorry.
PT?
What do parent teacher organizations have to do with IT security?
Oh, the joys of being an IT administrator. The job's never over. You're always on call.
Indeed.
This is why I'm in the cloud, folks. But then I'm at the mercy of Atlassian actually keeping the lights on.
Well, I mean, you're at the mercy, and as I said earlier, it's not like the Atlassian Cloud doesn't have these issues. They're all just 0 days, which means you don't even know about them yet.
That's the best way to do it, man. Not knowing about it.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, shorten the chat, right? It's dead if you know about it. It's dead if you open it. I'd rather just not know.
Mm-hmm.
I, for one, though, I am glad that I don't touch on-premise versions of Jira and Confluence because these would be a pain in the behind. Now, I did want to ask one last question, Mr. Mad Doctor. Want to ask one last question. So, assets. So, in the cloud, assets is a premium-only functionality. Is in JSM assets just part of the package, or are
assets is right? So. In data center, assets is after a certain long-term support version of JSM data center, it's bundled in. There are some people that are still using a kind of the older Insight plugin and kind of moving that along, and they may be at that older version as well.
So regardless of whether you're on the older one or current one, you should still be doing the update.
Yeah, you should probably. Yeah, you should still be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And in other news, we had the Atlassian, and we had an Atlassian at the hell.
We had an Atlassian at the Atlanta ACE event yesterday that reassured us that DC was not going anywhere, and Atlassian is going to continue to invest in data center. I said I don't think data center is going anywhere in the near future.
Definitely not by 2025, that's for sure.
Not by 2025. Beyond that, I think everyone's taking a we'll see approach.
Well, we'll see, I guess.
Yep.
So that is basically it. Then 20-minute here, quote and end quote. Thank you everybody for watching this. Always in threes. There we go, Sean. That what did they say? So Sean, expect next week we will have yet another breaking episode.
If that's what it takes to keep people informed, we'll be here.
Yep.
Don't forget that next week is also going to be our Bizarro episode where Rodney and I are going to be switching places.
We call it Bizarro episode, or should we just call it a Halloween special?
Sure.
Close enough. I always imagine, like, Star Trek Mirror Universe type of episode. So, it'd be interesting to see, all of a sudden, Rodney appear in a goatee like Mr. Spock.
I mean, should I shave this?
Ronnie, let's change facial hair. I got glasses. I got my my gunners for the blue light.
I mean, I could put in my contacts.
We'll call it the Halloween special. But folks, let us know. Apparently, Ed here, he liked these. So let us know if you like these kind of episodes. We'd like to just kind of come together as breaking news happen. I think it'd be a good practice to get a quick 20-30-minute episode just to kind of let the community know what's going on. Maybe chop it up and put some clips and some shorts and TikToks and stuff and whatnot. And just the more people know about this, the better. Because one particular person reached out to me, I want to say Monday of this week, from the Confluence vulnerability had come out like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is quite a delay in a lot of people finding out. So the more people that know about these things, that care about these things, the better it is. So let us know. We'll continue doing these, but we'll bring you all the breaking moments here happening in the world of Atlassian. We're going to need a name for this segment.
Yeah. We'll work on it. We'll workshop it.
All right. So with that said, we got a couple minutes. Any fun stuff that you guys want to talk about on a Friday night?
I could talk about how we almost missed our flight because TSA didn't want us to have our booze. Or should we save that for next week?
It's Friday night. It's 5:00 somewhere now.
I mean, look at my wall. It's 5:00 here.
It says 17:22, man.
You and your Americanness.
No. Like you, man. So what happened? Tell us. Now you got us peeked on the.
All right. So on our way home, we stopped by the duty-free stores in both Poland and Amsterdam. And one thing me and my wife love to do. As one does. One thing me and my wife love to do, we love to get craft liquors from wherever we're traveling. So, yeah, we did that. We picked up 2 bottles at each location, 2 for each of us, because that's what we could get through customs. We go through customs. That part's no problem. In spite of Bob trying to get me in trouble, they let me through. We go through TSA, and they pull both our bags off because there's giant bottles of liquids in there. We figured this would happen. It's duty-free. We'll be fine, right? No, they scan one of the bottles from my wife's bag. They're like, this is alerting for some reason. I mean, we could see that it is explosive liquid. It's liquor, but this isn't a problem. But we still can't let this through. They scan the bottle. They open up the second bottle, and they're like, not the actual bottle itself, just packaging. They're like, I can't even scan this bottle. You're going to have to give both these up. You want to go through? And we're like, okay, well, let's just get the other ones done and figure it out, and then we can figure out what we're doing from there, right? They get to the third bottle, and they're like, yeah, this shape, we're not going to be able to scan either. Like, I am not giving up 3 of the 4 bottles we brought on this trip, right? So we go through. We're like, okay, look, we understand you're just doing your job. Let's get this checked in. Let's get through because our flight is like in 30 minutes all the way across Atlanta's airport. So we go through that. My wife goes through, gets a check. She goes to go back through TSA. They're like, no, you have to go the long way around again. I debated that, Ed. I thought about that. But no, we get it checked. We go, and then we start bolting. Once my wife finally gets to TSA, there's 20 minutes left before the flight. We get to the trains. We get to the terminal. There's 15. My wife's like, you've got to run, right? I'm like, I know I have a heart condition that has put me in the special needs line for every stop of this trip. I'll go as fast as I can, but I'm not guaranteeing a run.
Wait, so what happened
And
to the bottles? Did they make them through?
the bottles made it through. They made it onto the plane, into checked luggage, and we get there right as they announced general boarding for all passengers.
Ooh.
So, buzzer beater.
The things you do for alcohol, man.
Here's the thing: me and my wife maybe drink once every other month. We're not heavy drinkers. But we have all this stuff from all these trips. I'm like, oh yeah, that was 2015, and this is where we went there in 2016. Oh, and that was a work trip I did in 2018. Obviously, 2020 through 2022, that gets a little empty.
So I got a layover in Atlanta next week. Any tips that I can do my 45-minute layover? How do I get from how far is it to get from terminal A to B?
Run.
Isn't there a tunnel?
There is a tunnel, and if your timing is lucky, you can get on the train and we'll save you some time. But if the train isn't there when you go downstairs, just run for it. It's going to be quicker than waiting.
Do you guys have those power walkers?
Yeah, they do between the terminals. But once you get to the terminal itself, that's all on foot.
Yeah, because I got a couple. I land like at 6 p.m. Eastern, and my next flight it boards by 6:55, so I have like 50 minutes. Like the door closes at 6:55, so I'm like, man.
You I would have put more time on that layover. I'm not joking, my friend.
I figured it's just me, and I'm not checking in luggage, so I'm just gonna grab my suitcase, get out, and go. I'm pretty.
Well, that's the trick. How long is it going to take you to get off the plane?
And how good is your cardio? I mean, and well, first off,
I think I'm pretty nimble. I'll get through.
what row are you on that flight to
Yeah,
Atlanta?
no, that's so I thought about that, and I think that's where I made a big mistake. I only usually exclusively fly 737s. I didn't realize that 757s and Airbuses A321s are bigger.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So I'm on the 45th row.
Oh. That's an amateur mistake.
But I figured all the first class people, like that takes up 50% of the airplane anyways.
No.
I'm gonna take my chances, man, but I'm gonna bolt it.
As I said, my advice doesn't change. My advice is run.
Run.
Good pair of running shoes on that day. You may have to.
The other thing that's freaking me out is at least a week ago when I was scouting the flight paths and stuff, I couldn't find terminal A17.
That is actually a good one. That is close to the middle. You come into the terminals in the middle. So if you go on the A terminal, you're going to be in the middle.
And jump to the 20s on the other side. I'm like, what happened to 17?
It's there. It's in the middle. It's just not easily seen on the map.
It is not on the map.
But yeah.
Great. My wife's gonna pack me with some rollerblades. Colleen Davis now on the over/under for. That seems an important part of the story. How did you get? How did you get the? So they just checked it in.
Yeah, they checked the bag. The bag got to the airplane, and that's how we got the bottles in.
Ronnie, I'm no genius, but since 2021, I mean, since 2001, I'm under the impression that you're not supposed to carry liquids.
Yeah, but if you have a duty-free bag, if you bought it after you went through security, usually it's fine. Damn, it's just going it through customs and then into the U.S. TSA. They're like, okay, I'm not going to say the U.S. TSA, Atlanta TSA, because they're usually a step extra than anywhere else I've been.
You know what, Sean? Now you're freaking me out because that also assumes perfect weather, perfect everything, assuming gate like on-time arrivals.
Atlanta arrivals are usually fairly close to on time, if not a little bit early. Your biggest struggle is probably honestly going to be people getting off the plane.
I'm gonna just hustle it, man. I'm gonna hustle it.
You got this, man. If not,
then can I call you up so you can pick me up?
If I'm not over in LA at the time.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to. Ed, where are you going to be at next Thursday?
Yeah, I think Ed's going to be your backup. You know, he'll feed you some barbecue on the way. Ed,
to are you hotel. In Atlanta on Monday in case I get stranded in this airport?
That being said, Alex, if I was in town and you could call me up, it's absolutely not a problem. I would come pick you up.
There we go. Will you come down to San Diego? I'll return the favor. We got you, Alex. There we go. Thank you, folks. It's more fast. It's more how fast the people here. Okay, so Sean, I am an expert in this domain though because my plus 150 trips to Disneyland with the stroller has prepared me for this moment.
I
can
don't
get
think
my-
it's fully prepared you.
I don't think so because this time around you will not have said stroller to use as a way to clear.
As a cow catcher.
I have my luggage.
The moseying people do at the Atlanta airport is a different sort of moseying. Trying to get thread through people is always a interesting exercise.
We'll see how it goes, man. Never been over there. Ed, I got you. I'm gonna film myself going over the Mississippi. I'm excited, yet so scared, yet excited.
You'll be fine, man.
You'll be
and
good.
we're poking a lot of fun at you, but it is a short time. You're going to have some struggles getting cross, but even if you're late, you'll just catch the next flight because it's Atlanta. There's always the next flight.
Oh yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, there is like 12 flights to Palm Beach that day.
Yeah. And you will have made it past the Mississippi, where all the radio stations start with a W.
My wife says I should take a GoPro for the adventure. Business expense.
No joke, I almost grabbed my GoPro for the trip last week.
I got the new iPhone 15 and I haven't converted all my iPhone 13 stuff to it. So I almost have to take everything and my Android because this one has my Okta in it. And so I need to do my Okta in there. So I have 2 days to convert Okta from that phone to this phone.
Oh. Yeah, that is a pain. That is a pain.
Yeah.
When kind of converting over to a new phone is all the two-factor authentication and you have to change.
Mine just transferred over when I did my last upgrade.
You know what? I haven't opened.
We're using Okta too.
Let me see what happens when I open up Okta.
Watch it already have all your stuff in there.
It should have him. No, it says no accounts added. Womp womp womp.
Honestly, that's the better approach. I like that approach better than just having your stuff automatically migrate.
Except if they're an Apple product app. AirPods. These are the Pro Originals. 3s. Pro 2s.
So how many Beats by Dre do you have?
None. But I do have the Maxes. With a little purse.
So are you getting the new goggles thing they're coming out with?
No, I draw a line there. $3,000
All right.
Draw a line there.
He says he draws a line there, Lena. You need to keep him straight on that for us. Or at least tell us if he lies about that.
I have the Oculus that I don't use. So it's not a stroller as a Pro. You know what? Maybe I should just take a stroller for the heck of it.
Use it for your duffel bag.
I know. Flying solo. I'm not used to these long trips, man. My longest flights are like 45 minutes to an hour.
Spoiled.
I think that's also another factor. It's like he's been seated in the plane for hours, and so
then he has to get up and go.
Running shape.
Yeah, the flight from Amsterdam to Atlanta yesterday was 9.5 hours.
Oh my gosh, and I'm freaking out over 4.
Oh, and there were 3 babies within eyesight of me.
Until you have your own kids, Ronnie, you can't hate on the kids, man.
Oh, I can. I'm just the bad guy for it, but I can accept that role.
You're the one person that adds that stress level to me every time I get on the plane with the kid. Well, luckily, mine are all old now. we'll see. Maybe the first trip that my kids have in 2017 will be to Huntsville to go look at some rockets.
As said, I will meet you there, probably with my family, myself, and we'll go look at some rockets.
All right. Well, I can't believe we kept 6 people on this long. Any questions from the community? Otherwise, probably on can always drive about 8 hours to Palm Beach. There's also an option, or I can just stop at Ed's house and get some barbecue.
I like that option better.
Yeah, that's a nice option.
I have another friend who lives in Atlanta. He lives in Dunwoody.
I don't know why anyone chooses to live there, but I do believe you that people do live there.
Actually, so interestingly enough, I was looking at your LinkedIn the other day. Whose was it? One of you two, who worked at Cisco, you or Ed?
It wasn't me. I was VMware.
Sorry, yeah. Who worked at VMware? Was it you?
I was VMware.
In Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay, so my buddy, we call each other cousins because we have the same last name. So you were there 2016 to 2018. So now let me check his.
That doesn't. No, I was technically there 2015, but the company was still in the process of being acquired. So 2016 is officially when I got VMwared.
So my buddy was. Oh no, he wasn't that. He was Cisco. I thought it was VMware. What? Never mind. I could have sworn he was at VMware.
Wrong IT vendor.
Two ships that crossed over in different harbors.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're going to call this because I am hungry. I'm going to go get lunch. Happy Friday night, everybody. Hope you enjoyed today's breaking news.
Yes,
and
happy
patch
Friday
your
night.
instances.
I'm just surprised we got 6 people here on a Friday night. We might have to do these like Friday Night Lights type of thing or something. Have Friday night.
The Jira life after dark.
You gotta do it dark enough where it's like morning for the EU team, though. What time do they come online? Like 9 p.m. our time?
There we go. After dark.
My wife says happy hour. She's never drank an ounce of alcohol in her life. We'll do cranberry juice.
I've got some choice samples she could have now. We could break out some of the tequila we got in Mexico for our honeymoon.
How do you bring that over? Just
3 bottles and your check back.
gotta go. I'm only 45 minutes from TJ. If you guys ever want to go to TJ, let me know. I'll drop you off, but I can't come back in. I gotta get a passport.
Yeah, let's fix that problem first.
I told my wife, I was telling her today, I was like, hey, very serious. I should get a passport because I want to start going to all these ACE events around the world. We'll just do the Jira Life on the road. We got to get enough sponsors to take us to these various events. We'll do special episodes from every ACE event.
It'll be like those old Bob Hope and Bing Crosby movies. The Jira Life on the road, the Jira Life in Morocco.
Let's get like a van and like just tour the 7 seas here.
I mean, high velocity coming up on the 1st. I would love to be in Sydney for that.
Okay, we'll start in 2024. We got. I gotta get a passport, and apparently, Bob says it takes 2 months.
It does.
It does. 2 months for expedited. 3 months. 3 months if you do the regular wait.
All right, so let's fix that problem first, and then we'll figure out how to get to the rest of the ACE events. And we gotta let the people know. Bring the Jira Life over to your ACE event. We'll do a live stream from there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, again, I'm gonna go. Thank you all very much. Appreciate you stopping by on a Friday night. Hopefully, you all educated. And keep in mind, folks, we can add up to 12 people on this call. I think 10 or 12 people. We got
a number greater than 3.
Yeah, a number greater than 3, and so we got the big bucks here, so we can add a couple more people. So if you guys ever just want to come kick the can with us, let us know. Bob, always a pleasure to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Happy to be on.
I'll see you.
When are we making your major announcement? Are we going to do it next week?
I'm thinking so.
Okay, folks, come back
Bob
on
should
Thursday.
Bob should
Guitar
join us for that though. I think Bob should join us for that one.
Maybe
At least
somebody
the
else.
announcement.
Maybe another rubber ducky should join us. You should have filed for a passport already in the time you talked about it. Sean,
He would already have it if he did.
this episode is sponsored by Edgar Barbecue.
Ed, I'll hold you to that. I am actually rather hungry right now.
I've been flirting with us and telling us that it's going to be sponsored by Edgar Barbecue. Let's we gotta talk business. All right, folks. Thank you again very much. Don't forget, this episode is sponsored by Edgar Barbecue. Don't forget to check out the links down below so you can pick up your barbecue sauce.
And as always, we didn't choose the Jira Life. The Jira Life chose us. Even when we're busy updating on a